Dear brothers and sisters, the feast of today has got two important aspects. The first one is commemorating the Jewish practice of the purification of the mother after childbirth. And secondly, presentation of the child to God in the temple. It is also known as the Feast of the Encounter. Baby Jesus encounters the Old Testament or the Old Law. Interestingly, it is not the representatives from the priestly class who welcome Jesus to the temple, but two lay people without any official role in the temple, but who are in love with God. They are Simeon and prophetess Anna. This feast, in certain sense, celebrates the encounter or meeting of the old with the new. And as I said, the old is represented by Simeon and Anna and not by the priestly class. The Pharisees, Sadducees, or anybody else, simply because the priestly class would never give up that attachment to the old, the rules, the regulations, the culture, the rituals. But whereas Simeon and Anna were more prepared, more open to receive the new. In fact, the priestly class tried to kill, destroy this newness. That is the person of Jesus himself on the cross. Did they succeed to destroy, kill the new? Not at all. After 3 days, that newness re-emerged again, and we call it the resurrection of the Lord. This newness, new thing that is brought by Jesus is not going to die. Even if we are going to destroy it every time with our own sins. Pope Benedict XVI, speaking about the Eucharist and speaking to the southern Italian bishop, speaks about three important aspects. He says, we give something to Jesus, and then he transforms it, and then later we receive it back. First, what do we give to Jesus? He says we give to Jesus death. The Pharisees, Sadducees, priests, and the Jews in loud voice said, crucify him, destroy him. We want a criminal, but not this newness. We are happy with the old. We give death to Jesus, says Pope Benedict. But what does he do? He receives the death. He receives the death and from within transforms that death and gives us something very new, that is life. That is that newness. That is that resurrection. We desire, in certain sense, death by our own sins, but the Lord transforms it, or whatever we give to Jesus, it transforms and gives that newness to us. What do we give to Jesus? And Pope says, we give to him the sufferings, the beating, the nails, the crown of thorns, the insults. We give everything to Jesus. And Jesus receives it, transforms, and gives us love. He extends his hands in loving every person who is willing to accept this love. And what do we give to Jesus, he says? We give to Jesus ordinary wine and water, fruit of human labor. Jesus receives it, transforms it, and gives us his body and blood. If that is the case, Jesus is willing to receive whatever I give to him, but he transforms it and gives to me something special, something new, something fresh. Today, as we celebrate this feast or the presentation of the Lord in the temple, we are invited to give to him or commit ourselves, offering to him our thoughts, our works, our joys, our sorrows, our tiredness, our rest, everything that we are and we do, that the Lord might transform it and make it something new. Every Eucharist invites us to have this encounter that happens in the church. What is that encounter? I come to the church with that old sins, repeated sins, my old behavior, and I come to the Lord. I meet the Lord, that newness, and Lord willingly gives me forgiveness. That is the new thing. And this is what we celebrate today. And also, today, when we celebrate the kind of a feast of lights, we come in procession with candles to celebrate that newness. Let's not forget to pray for the consecrated people. Let's not forget to pray the religious who have committed themselves to proclaim the word through their lives. Today also is the day where we remember baby Jesus, we honor him, we seek his blessings. I remember the words or explanation given by Thomas Aquinas, great scholastic theologian. Every time that I come to the temple, this special encounter happens. And he explains this encounter in this way. I give this example. There is water in a pot, in a vessel. Water by itself is neither hot, neither cold, nor cold. It absorbs the heat or cold from the atmosphere. You take that vessel with the water and put on the fire. What is the essence? What is the quality of the fire? You put it on the North Pole, you put the fire here, ignite the fire here. The quality of the fire is always heat. And once you put this water on the fire, water absorbs that heat and makes it its own. Now you put the hands in the fire or you put your hand in the water, both burn because water has absorbed the heat from the fire. So also, every time that I come to the church, I need to absorb that quality of God. Now, what is the quality of God? Is holiness. God is perfect. God, Jesus says, be perfect as God is perfect, be holy as God is holy. And when I absorb that holiness, that perfectness of God, I become holy myself and try to be perfect as God is. That is the responsibility of every one of us. Today, as we celebrate this feast, pray for the consecrated people, and also as we honor infant Jesus, let's ask the Lord to give His grace that I might put myself on that fire of Jesus, that I might absorb that fire of holiness, perfectness, and become myself like God. We are called to be like God.